What's the law? What you can't and can't say on a billboard? Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is directed by Martin McDonagh and starring Frances McDormand, Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell, and Caleb Landry Jones. Before I go any further, I just want to say there will not be any plot spoilers in this review. This film is centered around a woman portrayed by Frances McDormand who rents out three billboards slightly outside of her small town of Ebbing, Missouri, and these billboards basically accuse the local police department of negligence when it comes to finding out about the perpetrator of the death of her daughter. In doing that, she riles up the entire town against her, including the sheriff portrayed by Woody Harrelson. It has been quite a few years since we've seen a film by Martin McDonagh. His most recent film was Seven Psychopaths, which I believe came out 5 years ago in 2012. It definitely shows that taking your time with the film can lead to some great results, because this is one of my favorite films of the year. This is certainly one of the best screenplays I have seen this year. McDonagh does not hold back at all when it comes to the content in this screenplay, especially with the dialogue. This is some of the most non-politically correct dialogue you will ever see in a film, at least in current times. It is a hotbed of just fiery dialogue that is really looking at a lot of social and political issues that are going on today, especially when it comes to our relationship with race, our relationship with the police and authority, and all of those things that you see in the news a lot lately. But behind all of those kind of surface level things, it is also a film about loss, it's a film about mourning, it's a film about death, and it's a film about life, and really balances all of those things so well inside of a package which is a dark comedy. This film is a pitch black comedy, really one of the darkest I've seen in years. He seems to be somebody who really thrives when it comes to dark comedy, and he is not afraid to really go there. All of that boldness is taken on by a really strong cast of actors, headlined by Frances McDormand, who is really once again at her best. She is, I think, one of the all-time actresses we have now. She is an Oscar award-winning actress. She is just phenomenal all throughout her career, and this is yet again another career performance for her. And do not be surprised if she gets nominated for an Oscar coming up soon. She is fantastic in this film, portraying a mother who is lost a key part of her life, who is having to deal with all of these unanswered questions to what happened to her daughter. We also given a fantastic performance by Woody Harrelson. His on-screen chemistry with the Frances McDormand character is very toxic, but also really good. Their back and forth when it comes to the dialogue is fantastic. And once again, one of the most underrated actors, at least in my opinion, who's been working in Hollywood for a while now, is Sam Rockwell. He is fantastic in this movie. He is a character who is so despicable and hateful and just an awful person, and Sam Rockwell really steals every scene that he is in. It really shows how this world is filled with a lot of people like Sam Rockwell. Someone who is a victim of generations of certain racist tendencies, certain hateful tendencies, and how a lot of that isn't natural to us as humans, but it is taught to us by past generations, by parents and grandparents and relatives, and really just a lot of people being the product of their surroundings, because like I said, the non-politically correctness of a lot of the dialogue in this film is a product of where this film is set, but also a product of just the way society is in certain parts of the country and really certain parts of the world. It's very one-track minded, and this film is not afraid to show how natural that seems to be permeating throughout our society. The film feels a lot like a play, which kind of makes a lot of sense. It's Martin McDonagh once upon a time was a playwright, and he wrote many plays, so dialogue and character setting in the screen is one of his fortes. You definitely see that in this film. It makes it for a little less cinematic, but it definitely still works. The strengths are definitely still there. Even though the screenplay, in my opinion, is fantastic, there are a few moments that I have a couple of problems with. I wish there was more of a relationship between the Frances McDormand character and her son, portrayed by Lucas Hedges, who really was a breakout star last year in Manchester by the Sea. And also, there is a character shift in the third act of this film that I thought was not exactly jarring in any way, but I thought it was a little too convenient for the plot, a little contrived. But it worked overall for the film, and the actor who portrayed this character change did a phenomenal job with it. Also, I feel the main plot of this film shifts at some point. The movie evolves into something else completely than it was previously. It doesn't necessarily break the film for me in any way. It doesn't really degrade the film for me in any way. It was just a very interesting observation for me, and I'm curious if other people saw it. So with all that being said, I'm going to give this film a rather high score of 4.7 out of 5 stars. Like I said, it is one of my favorites of the year. The screenplay is amazing, the dialogue is great, the acting is first rate. I highly recommend this film for anyone who is a fan of Martin McDonagh's previous works of In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths. So that has been my review of 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. If you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel.